Engage.
Hey guys, it's Queen from the Entertainer View. Have you ever been scrolling through a then and now list and done a complete double take? The 90s gave us some of the most iconic movies and faces of all time. We had their posters on our walls. We quoted their lines until our friends got sick of us. And to be honest, they were the absolute titans of the box office. I spent all morning researching this, and you won't believe what happened to some of them. Stick around because you are about to find out. In this video, we're looking at over 85 of the most popular 90s movie stars then and now in 2026. And believe it or not, some of their stories are so wild, it's like a glitch in the Hollywood Matrix. Let's get into it. First up, a man who is an entire genre unto himself, Clint Eastwood. Back in 1992, at 62, he gave us the masterpiece Unforgiven. Now, in 2026, at the incredible age of 96, Eastwood is still a formidable force. Actually, he was directing and starring in movies into his 90s, with Cry Macho in 2021, proving that for some people, age is genuinely just a number.
The name is Cock Macho. It's okay by me.
Remember Sergeant Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon? Of course you do. Danny Glover, who was in his late 40s during the franchise's peak, is now 79 years old. To be honest, it's just comforting to see the beloved actor still active, lending his voice to projects and showing up in films.
Listen up, ladies and gentlemen!
From The Fugitive, Tommy Lee Jones was the relentless U.S. Marshal we couldn't help but root for, and he snagged an Oscar for it at age 46. Now, at 79, that signature gruff intensity, oh yeah, it's still there. He continues to take on roles that just command authority, recently popping up in 2023's The Burial and Finest Kind.
Engage.
Engage! You knew it was coming. Patrick Stewart masterfully commanded the Enterprise in 1994's Star Trek Generations at 54 years old. Today, he's a knighted legend at 85 years old. Check this out, he even delighted fans by reprising his iconic role as Jean-Luc Picard one last time in 2023, proving some captains are truly timeless. Christopher Lloyd, the wild-haired Doc Brown from Back to the Future Part 3, was 51 back in 1990. Today, in 2026, at the age of 87, he's still got that eccentric energy we all love. He's a fixture at fan conventions and takes on fun roles, including a recent appearance in Season 3 of The Mandalorian. He was Batman in the 90s. Michael Keaton first put on the cowl in Batman Returns at the age of 40. Now, at 74, he's had this massive career resurgence that's been incredible to watch. Believe it or not, he returned as the Caped Crusader in The Flash and brought his signature energy to the long-awaited sequel, Beetlejuice in 2024. You literally can't keep this guy down. Sylvester Stallone, who defined 80s action and kept it going with 90s hits like Cliffhanger, is now 79. The Italian Stallion is busier than ever, starring in the hit streaming series Tulsa King and leading a new generation of action stars in the Expendables franchise.
Hasta la vista, baby.
He'll be back, and honestly, has he ever really left? Arnold Schwarzenegger was the unstoppable Terminator all through the 90s. Now, 78, the Austrian oak has transitioned from action hero to politician and back again. Actually, he recently starred in the Netflix action comedy series Fubar, proving that he can still Terminate, but with a comedic twist. From convict to icon, Danny Trejo and his rugged look became legendary in films like Desperado. He was in his early 50s then. Now, at 81, Trejo is a beloved figure with a taco empire and an endless stream of credits, showing off more energy than guys half his age. It's truly wild. Whoa, Keanu Reeves was the living definition of 90s cool in Point Break, Speed, and of course, The Matrix. Check this out, at 61 years old in 2026, he's arguably more popular than ever, still kicking butt as John Wick and being famously kind off-screen. It's a glitch in the Hollywood Matrix if I've ever seen one. Fans are practically begging for his return in a potential Constantine sequel. He belongs in a museum, and at 83, Harrison Ford is a historical treasure himself. Already a legend by the 90s, he's still cracking the whip. In 2023, he reprised his most famous role in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and then, because why not, he joined the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And now we get to a tough one. Yippee-ki-yay, Bruce Willis. As John McClane, he was the ultimate everyman hero. Today, at 70, Bruce Willis has retired from acting after being diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia. His family shares that he's surrounded by love, and his incredible legacy of films is celebrated by fans everywhere. From Mad Max to an Oscar-winning director for Braveheart at just 39, Mel Gibson was a massive 90s star. Now, 70 years old, Gibson continues to work both in front and behind the camera, recently directing the film Flight Risk. Always bet on black. Wesley Snipes was the epitome of cool in New Jack City, White Men Can't Jump, and of course, the half-vampire hero, Blade. He's now 63 and still a dynamic presence, recently appearing alongside Stallone in Expend 4. The muscles from Brussels, Jean-Claude Van Damme was a high-kicking phenomenon in the 90s with movies like Time Cop. At 65, JCVD is still in incredible shape and has, to be honest, fully embraced his legacy status with a great sense of humor. From escaping New York to escaping the 90s, Kurt Russell was already a huge star who kept his run going with hits like Tombstone and Stargate. Now, at 75, he's found a whole new generation of fans playing Ego in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Mr. Nobody in the Fast and Furious franchise. He has a very particular set of skills, and one of them is apparently never aging out of being an action hero. Liam Neeson, who earned an Oscar nomination for Schindler's List at 41, completely reinvented himself. Now, 73, he continues to lead the genre with a steady stream of thrillers. The man with bad mother on his wallet. Was there anyone cooler than Samuel L. Jackson in the 90s? Is there anyone cooler now? The answer is no. At 76, he's one of the highest-grossing actors of all time, still playing Nick Fury in the MCU and being the coolest guy in any room he enters. Life, finds a way, and so does Jeff Goldblum. The chaoticism from Jurassic Park was in his early 40s. Now, 73, he's evolved into a celebrated style icon and a beloved eccentric. Believe it or not, he returned to the prehistoric world in Jurassic World Dominion and continues to charm everyone with his quirky vibe and jazz music. The one who offered the red pill, Lawrence Fishburne was the wise and stoic Morpheus in The Matrix at 37. Now, 64, the powerful actor has a commanding presence in everything he does, from the John Wick series to Francis Ford Coppola's epic Megalopolis.
From Days of Thunder to Batman Forever, Nicole Kidman was that fiery redhead who lit up the 90s screen. Now 58, the Oscar-winning actress is a global icon of elegance and talent, producing and starring in acclaimed series like Big Little Lies and Expats. She'll never let go, and honestly, we'll never let go of her. Kate Winslet became a global superstar at just 22 as Rose in Titanic. Now, at 50, she is one of the most respected and decorated actresses of her generation, actually just crushing intense roles in series like Mare of Easttown and The Regime. Now for a pair of absolute living legends. Gene Hackman was a dominant force with films like The Firm and Unforgiven. Believe it or not, born in 1930, he's now 96. He retired from acting back in 2004 to enjoy a quiet life, but his incredible body of work is legendary. And then there's Robert Duvall, who gave us powerful performances in films like The Apostle. He's now 95 years old and as respected as they come, even appearing in the 2022 film Hustle with Adam Sandler. Speaking of unstoppable forces, let's talk about Rita Moreno, a legend from the original West Side Story. She is now 94 years old and is still everywhere, recently appearing in 80 for Brady, Fast X, and the Netflix film Family Switch. She's an absolute inspiration. We really like her. And how could you not? Sally Field, an Oscar winner who starred in 90s hits like Mrs. Doubtfire and Forrest Gump, is now 79. She continues to grace the screen with her incredible talent, recently starring in the comedy 80 for Brady. The dame herself, Helen Mirren. She was already celebrated when she starred in The Madness of King George in 1994. Now 80, she is basically Hollywood royalty, appearing in everything from the Fast and Furious franchise to the Yellowstone prequel 1923.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
And Tom Hanks in the 90s was the whole damn box, winning back-to-back Oscars for Philadelphia and Forrest Gump. Now 69, America's dad is as beloved as ever, recently starring as Geppetto in Pinocchio and in Wes Anderson's Asteroid City. Is there anything she can't do? Seriously, it's a genuine question. Meryl Streep, arguably the greatest actress of her generation, continued her reign in the 90s. At 76, she continues to deliver masterful performances, most recently in the hit series Only Murders in the Building. The powerful Denzel Washington. He didn't just star in movies in the 90s, he defined them with nominations for Malcolm X and The Hurricane. Now, 71, he's a revered actor and director who returned to one of his most famous roles in The Equalizer 3 and is set to appear in Ridley Scott's highly anticipated Gladiator 2. The silence is broken. Jodie Foster won an Oscar for The Silence of the Lambs in 1991 at just 28 years old. Let that sink in. Now 63, she continues to choose compelling, intelligent roles, recently earning another Oscar nomination for Nyad and starring in the latest season of True Detective. Hello, Clarice. Sir Anthony Hopkins terrified an entire generation as Hannibal Lecter, winning an Oscar at 54. Now, at 88, he became the oldest ever acting Oscar winner in 2021 for The Father, and remains brilliantly prolific, recently playing Sigmund Freud. Just incredible. You can't talk about 90s legends without talking about these two. Al Pacino had a massive 90s, finally winning his Oscar for Scent of a Woman. At 85, he's still a magnetic force on screen, recently appearing in Knox Goes Away. And then there's Robert De Niro, who directed and starred in A Bronx Tale. Now 82, he earned his latest Oscar nomination for Killers of the Flower Moon, and believe it or not, recently welcomed his 7th child. The king of the world, Leonardo DiCaprio went from global heartthrob in Romeo and Juliet and Titanic to one of the most powerful dramatic actors on the planet. Now 51, he's used his stardom to become a dedicated environmental activist, recently starring in Killers of the Flower Moon. One of the sexiest men alive then and now. Some things just don't change. Brad Pitt shot to superstardom in the 90s with films like Interview with the Vampire and Fight Club. Now 62, he's an Oscar-winning actor and producer, recently starring in Babylon and an upcoming Formula Racing movie. The pretty woman herself, Julia Roberts, and that megawatt smile defined the 90s romantic comedy. She is now 58 and still a major star, recently leading the thriller Leave the World Behind and starring with George Clooney in Ticket to Paradise. America's sweetheart from Speed and While You Were Sleeping, Sandra Bullock was the ultimate girl next door. Now 61, the Oscar-winning actress announced a hiatus from acting to focus on her family, but her incredible filmography keeps her a fan favorite. The mesmerizing Michelle Pfeiffer was the definitive Catwoman in Batman Returns. At 67, she is as stunning as ever, joining the Marvel Universe as Janet Van Dyne in the Ant-Man films and earning acclaim for her work. From Thelma and Louise to Dead Man Walking, Susan Sarandon was a fearless and acclaimed actress in the 90s. Now 79, she continues to be a vocal activist and talented performer, recently appearing in the DC superhero film Blue Beetle. Okay, check this out. We are not even halfway through, and some of these are blowing my mind. If you're loving this trip down memory lane, do me a favor and smash that like button, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming up next. All right, back to the 90s.
Now for the jesters, the funny men, the stars who made us laugh until we cried. The 90s were a golden age for comedy, and these were its kings. Let's start with a trio of legends who are basically defying time itself. Mel Brooks, who gave us Robin Hood, Men in Tights in 1993, is now at the incredible age of 99. Then there's the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious Dick Van Dyke, who is now 100 years old and, believe it or not, was recently dancing on The Masked Singer. And of course, Feeney. William Daniels, the wise teacher from Boy Meets World, is now 98 and remains a cherished icon. The man behind the bean. Rowan Atkinson brought the bumbling Mr. Bean to the big screen in 1997. At 71, the brilliant physical comedian is still at it, starring in the Netflix series Man vs. Bee and lending his voice to Wonka. What's the deal with still being one of the funniest people on the planet? Jerry Seinfeld, the king of 90s TV, is now 71. He recently directed and starred in the Netflix movie Unfrosted and continues to be a master of observational comedy. Alrighty then, Jim Carrey wasn't just a comedian in the 90s, he was a force of nature with hits like Ace Ventura and The Mask. Now 64, he's explored more dramatic roles, but check this out, he returned as the villainous Dr. Robotnik in the Sonic the Hedgehog films. The one and only Adam Sandler. From Billy Madison to The Waterboy, his unique brand of comedy basically owned the late 90s. At 59, he's a certified comedy legend with a massive Netflix deal that's produced hits like You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah. Yeah, baby. Mike Myers gave us two of the most iconic characters of the decade with Wayne's World and Austin Powers. Now 62, the famously private star has been more selective, recently creating and starring in the Netflix series The Pentaveret. The legendary Eddie Murphy had a huge 90s comeback with The Nutty Professor and Mulan. Born on April 3, 1961, he is 64 years old, and that star power hasn't faded one bit. Actually, he recently starred in the holiday comedy Candy Cane Lane and is returning for Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Steve Martin, a comedy icon, starred in the beloved Father of the Bride movies. Now 80, he's found a whole new audience starring with his old friend Martin Short in the hit series Only Murders in the Building. Short, hilarious in Father of the Bride and Mars Attacks, is now 75, and his career is hotter than ever thanks to that show. Now for a trio of comedic queens who owned the 90s. Sister Act star Whoopi Goldberg was a major box office draw. At 70, she remains a household name on The View and continues to act. The divine Miss M, Bette Midler, charmed us in Hocus Pocus. Now 80, she's a force of nature who returned for Hocus Pocus 2. And Goldie Hawn, a star for decades, is now 80, enjoying life and even playing Mrs. Claus with her longtime partner Kurt Russell.
To infinity and beyond!
To infinity and beyond. Tim Allen was Buzz Lightyear and Santa Claus in the 90s. Now 72, he continues his role as a conservative voice in comedy, recently wrapping his sitcom Last Man Standing and the Santa Clauses series. A Fish Called Wanda, and a comedy genius. John Cleese of Monty Python fame is now 86 and as outspoken as ever, touring with his one-man show and still working. The unforgettable Steve Buscemi was a staple of 90s independent film in classics like Reservoir Dogs and Fargo. Now 68, he's one of the most respected character actors in Hollywood, recently appearing in the Miracle Workers series. From There's Something About Mary to Meet the Parents, Ben Stiller was a king of cringe comedy. At 60, he's pivoted to become a critically acclaimed director, helming the award-winning series Severance. Who you gonna call? Dan Aykroyd, the original Ghostbuster, kept busy in the 90s with films like My Girl and Tommy Boy. Now 73, he has joyfully returned to the franchise that made him a star, appearing in Ghostbusters Afterlife and Frozen Empire. Finally, we have the icons, the faces that weren't just in movies, they were the 90s. Could they be any more famous? Let's kick this off with the cast of Friends. Jennifer Aniston, who went from TV superstar to movie star, is now 57 and a powerhouse producer and actress on The Morning Show. The quirky Lisa Kudrow is now 62, a celebrated actress known for her incredible comedic timing. Matt LeBlanc, aka Joey Tribbiani, is 58 and has had a successful post-Friends career in sitcoms and as a host of Top Gear. And David Schwimmer, now 59, continues to work in film, television, and on the stage. You can't talk 90s pop culture without the horror icons. Sarah Michelle Gellar was the iconic Buffy the Vampire Slayer and starred in I Know What You Did Last Summer. At 48, she's back, starring and producing the series Wolfpack. And the original final girl of Scream, Neve Campbell, defined 90s horror. Now 52, she returned to her iconic role in the 2022 Scream revival and starred in the series Twisted Metal. From child star to 90s it girl in Ever After and The Wedding Singer, Drew Barrymore has done it all. At 51, she's now a beloved talk show host, bringing her signature sunshine to daytime TV. To be honest, it's the kind of career arc you just love to see. A singular and iconic talent, Johnny Depp was the rebel of the 90s in films like Edward Scissorhands. Now 62, after a period of intense public scrutiny, he has returned to acting in independent European films like Jean du Barry. She was Mary in There's Something About Mary and an action hero in Charlie's Angels. Cameron Diaz became one of the biggest stars of the decade. After a long hiatus, the 53-year-old is making her big return to acting in the aptly titled film Back in Action. Believe it or not, you can't make this stuff up. The Baywatch icon Pamela Anderson was one of the most famous women in the world in the 90s. Now 58, she's had this incredible career renaissance, reclaiming her own narrative with a best-selling memoir and a Netflix documentary. Welcome to Earth. Will Smith went from the Fresh Prince to the king of the summer blockbuster with Independence Day and Men in Black. At 57, after a controversial couple of years, he's back with the fourth installment of his beloved Bad Boys franchise. The wild and uncaged one, Nicolas Cage was an Oscar-winning actor and an action star in the 90s with hits like The Rock. At 62, he's more popular than ever, celebrated for his unique, fearless performances in films like Pig and The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. It's the most Nicolas Cage thing possible. So, there you have it. What a ride! From action heroes to comedy legends, the stars of the 90s are still making their mark. Now I want to hear from you. Which transformation completely blew your mind? And who, to be honest, was your ultimate 90s movie crush? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The 90s might feel like a lifetime ago, but it's pretty wild to see how the impact of these actors is still being felt. Actually, they basically built the blueprint for a generation of movie lovers, and seeing them still sharing their talents with the world decades later feels like a gift. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video, where we'll be looking at the biggest music video stars of the 90s then and now.